A lot of agents that they are actually making the document on behalf of the client because they think that they can just pay extra service, right?
Yeah.
And then they will get, okay, you can just forge some of a document, my bank statement or my salary slip or
Yeah.
whatsoever. And I think that this was happened in the past MM2H.
While the world's still asleep, we're already grinding. Walking foreign streets, big city lights so blinding. Learning and hustling in this relentless game. The Emerge Pods next up, we're breaking the frame.
Hi, and welcome to the Emerge podcast, where we break down emerging markets and give you actionable insights on how to start and grow your business in them. Today, we are once more in Kuala Lumpur, and joining us in the studio is Chee Mee from MYPVIP. Chee, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me today.
Well, it's our pleasure. So, Chee, the reason why I think this is going to make for a great episode is because we're going to talk about a visa
Yep.
that is, very different from the visas that we've had before in Malaysia. And, I've told you a bit about MYPVIP and how we get a lot of inquiries from
Yep.
people who are looking to relocate to Malaysia. And they're always trying to find the best way, whether to set up a company, whether to go for MM2H, whether
Yep.
to go for, a Dirantau visa. But this visa that you've brought to our attention, it's something unique, I believe, is the case. We would love to explore that with you. So let's dive right in. What is MYPVIP?
So, because I think a lot of people are exposed to the information of Malaysia, my second home, MM2H, right? So, because in the past, MM2H is kind of unstable, and they are like the requirement of the MM2H has been getting harder and harder, and then the government also closed the program for a while, and this PVIP, is called Malaysia Premium Visa, was introduced back in 2022. So that's why it's fairly new, and not a lot of people are aware about that.
That is correct, yeah.
And this program is designed to attract high net worth individual to come to Malaysia under the scheme. Yeah. So the PVIP is a 20 years visa. So that's why this is a very unique visa, which comes with a 20 years visa and allows the individual to reside in Malaysia for 20 years. And of course, the individual or the applicant can work in Malaysia and also can seek for employment as well.
I think
Yeah.
that's what separates it from the MM2H.
Exactly.
So just to put it in a nutshell, the MM2H was basically the government's answer to investment, residency by way of investment, right? But then there have been so many changes in the program,
Yeah.
and then it shut down for a while, and some of the categories are very hard. There are smaller ones, but then they don't allow you to work.
Yes.
And but primarily, I would like to talk about the purchase of property.
Yeah.
Because there have been similar visas across the world. Dubai has the golden visa where you buy a property, you get visa for 10, 20 years. And the MM2H was basically the answer to that. So you pay a fixed deposit, and then you buy a property, and then you can stay depending on how much your fixed deposit is.
Correct.
But the PVIP does not require property purchase.
Yes, correct. So PVIP is very attractive to high net worth individual. Purely is of course the entry of the PVIP is of course there is a prerequisite requirement. So the applicant must able to show 40,000 ringgit income per month
Okay.
or 480,000 annual income. Yeah, ringgit.
Okay.
So before they enter into the application, the applicant itself must able to show the income requirement, offshore income. So the income can be derived from salary income, dividend, property rental, or any investment income. They can be accumulated to 480,000 annual income, or if they have able to show 40,000 ringgit income in a month. So that's why, then of course, instantly the applicant can be, immediately can apply for the PVIP. Yeah. So as your question earlier for the property purchase, so this program doesn't need the applicant to commit into a property in the earlier stage. All right. Of course, this program is flexible enough to allow the investor or the applicant to purchase property in later stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with the MM2H was that, except for the very high end platinum category, it doesn't really allow you to come to Malaysia and then get the MM2H and then you work in Malaysia or you form a company. So, but the platinum category was the one that actually allowed you to do that. But then the platinum category had the fixed deposit requirement,
Correct.
which was $1 million.
Yes,
So
correct.
that's a big difference with the PVIP
Exactly.
as well. Yeah?
Yes. $1 million US dollar.
Yeah.
And that is why if it's for someone that actually come to me, so they are looking at, I'm thinking to expand my business in Malaysia, or I just want to have a flexibility to work for someone else in Malaysia. And considering to come to Malaysia, of course, Malaysia is a very beautiful country. Now we're looking at it like MM2H, silver and gold category is purely are not allowed to work.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why a high level individual are comparing between the platinum category, MM2H, and the PVIP. Now, PVIP, a fixed deposit, of course, is way lower. It's only 1 million ringgit, right?
So $1 million US dollars versus 1 million
Exactly.
ringgit. Right? Big
yeah,
difference.
5 times. Yeah, 5 times. Yeah. And of course, the commitment of purchasing property. Bear in mind, in a platinum category, so the applicant must buy property with a value of 2 million ringgit and above.
Right.
Whereas the PVIP, there's no property requirement purchase.
Yeah, but then in that case, you're basically, you're taking advantage of the ability to take out 50% from the fixed deposit.
Yes.
So someone would, put $1 million in for the MM2H, and they would take out 50% of that in the first year and purchase property with it.
Correct.
They can do the same with the PVIP if they want to, right?
It's the same. It's the same benefit. So for the PVIP, so after a year, the applicant can withdraw 50% of the fixed deposit for 3 purposes: property purchase, medical expenses, and also children education in Malaysia.
Right. Interesting. Well, now that we've explored just the basics of what it is, let's talk a bit more about the specifics, right?
Yeah.
So this fixed deposit, a lot of people ask how that works in the PVIP and in the MM2H. So how
Yep.
does the fixed deposit work? Which banks do you work with? Are there any benefits to doing the fixed deposit?
Okay, yeah, very good question. I guess for foreigners that are new to Malaysia, so for us is we actually offer, of course, assist our client to offer to various banks. So we don't cite one bank because some client they prefer, I prefer international bank like HSBC, Standard Chartered, or UOB. So of course we will have our connection with the banker to assist for the bank account opening. And if it's someone that say, I prefer local bank, I feel that more secure because I'll be staying in Malaysia. We also work with a few local banks like Maybank, CIMB, RHB, Affinbank, you name it. So we don't actually cite to any of the bank to promote to the client that this is the best bank, right? As a consultant ourselves, so we will actually just open up to our client and say, you tell me which bank you prefer.
Choose the one you want.
Yes,
right? Yeah,
correct.
exactly.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, that's interesting. And then are there any benefits to doing the fixed deposit in either case for MM2H and the PVIP? Do you get some kind of return on it?
Okay, so fixed deposit in Malaysia generally, I would say quite decent return. Will be clients because obviously they already put in 1 million fixed deposit, so instantly they are a preferred client for the
Okay.
bank, and most of the bank will offer quite attractive fixed deposit on the interest in the range of 3.3 to 3.5% per annum.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, that does make it a little lucrative. But again, let's talk about what kind of people are taking this, right? Because so you've been doing this since 2022. It's been
Yeah.
3 years now. How many clients do you handle on a general yearly basis or?
Okay, so I think as of now, the statistic, what I can proudly share with you, the company is actually a very new program since 2022. As of now, we have 170 application approved.
Wow, okay.
Well, currently, I think we already have, you're talking about number of applicants, inclusive spouse and children, is we have around 500 plus. 500 plus.
In the pipeline, yeah.
Yes, 500 plus applicants.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So people are really flocking.
Yes,
To the PVIP.
Yes. Now, the latest interesting statistic that since you asked me about who is applying, right?
Yeah.
The latest statistic that the immigration department just released, the number 1 country that applied the most is from China.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, from China, and followed by Korea, Japan, and also we have also a mix of nationality from US, UK, and European country as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But where does Indonesia rank on that? Because a lot of our audiences are from Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
So have you seen Indonesians choosing this program?
I think it's about awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So because this program is new and not many people are promoting it.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there aren't many agents for it as well right now.
okay,
Right? Yeah.
yes. So I would say for my PVIP, my PR program, Sudra Prahat is the first licensed agent who got this license to promote the PVIP visa. And of course, along the way, there are, of course, a few other agents, of course, in the list as well to offer these services. But I guess most importantly is we need to know. I mean, I mean, as an applicant themselves or as a client, they have to engage with the company that to know how to process the application.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, the government has set the the general outlines and
Correct.
stuff, but then you have to do some pre-qualifying.
Exactly, yeah.
To make sure, yeah.
Pre-qualifying the client, because most importantly, before we engage a client into the application, the qualifying income is very important. Yeah. So we don't want to give like a false hope to our clients saying that, okay, just pay us retainer, we'll settle
Yeah,
the rest.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this is happening in the past, like in MM2H.
Exactly,
There are a
yeah.
few agents that are doing, a false document, which of course we don't do that, right? We really have to be clear to our client that you have to show us this income, and then we have to pre-qualify you before we enter into agreement.
And I feel like that's the whole point about having agents in the middle, right?
Mm.
Because then it's the whole idea of having corporate secretaries in as well. So
Correct.
The agents and the corporate secretaries are responsible for ensuring that the data given to the government is accurate.
Correct.
And
Yes.
I was reading about this yesterday, that the UK is really cracking down on false documents and fabricated documents being handed over to immigration, and
Yes.
it's becoming a problem. Perhaps if they had government licensed agents
Yes.
like yourself who were
Yes.
pre-qualifying everything,
Correct.
might have made the system a lot easier.
Yes.
So it does make sense that the onus of the responsibility of the documents lies on the agents, which is why
Correct.
they have to hold themselves up to a very high standard.
Yeah, correct. So that's why it's very good to point out because you see there's a lot of agent that they are actually force making the document on behalf of the client because they think that they can just pay extra service.
Yeah.
Right, and then they will get okay, you can just forge some of the document, my bank statement or my salary slip or whatsoever, and I think that this was happened in the past MM2H.
And see,
time.
this is the kind of stuff that actually harms everyone. Because once the government catches on that this is happening, they will shut the program down, or they
Correct.
will put in more strict guidelines. So
Yeah.
the greed of a few will affect the actual positive work of a lot of others.
Correct.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is why now the processing responsible government who is heading for this PVIP, they actually impose a very strict regulation to us as an agent. So in the event that if they found that there's any false document was prescribed to them or incomplete documentation, so we will be the one that get penalty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they want to keep the program very clean and make
Correct.
sure that the right
Correct.
people come in.
Yeah.
But again, let's. I would take a step back and compare this to the MM2H because the idea behind the MM2H was to have it as a program that allows for residency by way of investment.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, since you've been working with both for a while, where did the MM2H lack that the PVIP is now catching up on? What were the disadvantages of an MM2H that made the government say, okay, we need a better program?
I think in generally MM2H and PVIP is totally two different approach altogether, because you see PVIP, like I say, is designed for attract high net worth individual.
Yeah.
Now MM2H in the past, because don't talk about the new requirement.
Yeah.
The previous requirement is very easy to achieve, right?
True.
Anybody can can put in a fixed deposit. They can just apply a residency in Malaysia. With the new scheme, with the new scheme of the three categories, silver, gold, and platinum, is in fact is making the application much more harder.
Yeah.
And the commitment for applicants that come to Malaysia to purchase property, that is something that hinders the applicants to really to commit. Are they ready to commit to come to Malaysia or not? So I always tell my client, before you commit, come to Malaysia and
Yeah.
feel yourself first. Yeah, it's no point. Come on, you're going to move your whole family here, right? Whether for retirement or make it as your second home or plan B or whatsoever. But you have to fall in love with the country that you intend to
Absolutely.
relocate.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm not selling a product to you, which if you don't like, then you can just throw away.
Yeah.
This is a lifetime.
It's a commitment.
Correct. Commitment and a lifetime kind of a place that where you're going to stay eventually. So especially for new to Malaysia foreigners, I would suggest them to come to Malaysia for a couple of visits. As you know, you are here for almost a year plus, right?
Yeah.
The whole Malaysia will give you different kind of flavor.
Absolutely,
Right? From
yeah.
Kuala Lumpur to Penang to Malacca to Johor. If you just want to have a more laid-back life, Ipoh,
Yeah.
So all this are giving you a different flavor of life residing in Malaysia. But apart from that, of course, Malaysia, as you know, we consider quite advanced country.
That's true.
Yeah, so we have everything. And one thing we're very attractive of Malaysia is, of course, we are multicultural.
Absolutely.
Right? So for any foreigners that come to Malaysia, it's quite easy for them to blend into our culture. Despite that, we have Malay, Chinese, Indian. We speak Mandarin. We speak English widely, Bahasa.
Yeah.
So. And of course, like China, why they love to come to Malaysia is because we speak Mandarin widely.
Correct,
So
yeah.
they don't have the stress of, I need to learn English in order for me to stay in Malaysia.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that is why.
Now, I was
yeah.
talking to a friend about this yesterday as well. So, like I said, I haven't been here for more than a year. I've
Yeah.
only been here for a while. So I brought my family. I put my kids in school,
Yeah.
and so I was telling my friend that, who was from Europe, by the way, and I told him that people are very open to other cultures, and the reason is because they already speak 3 very different languages.
Correct.
So adding a 4th language in it, they're already receptive to it. That they know that within the country,
Yeah.
there are people who do not speak Malayu. Not
Correct.
everybody speaks Malayu.
Yeah.
Not everybody speaks Chinese or Tamil for that. So the base of the country is really set by these 3 communities.
Yeah.
And that welcomes other cultures, and it doesn't feel odd. Because bringing my kids from Pakistan and
Yeah.
going to school, of course, we've been an English first household for a long time.
Yeah.
We found that everyone is at the same level.
Yeah.
So there are some Chinese kids in the school who don't speak English as
Correct.
fluently.
Yeah.
So they're learning too. It's not like our kids go in and they appear as these unicorns that don't know where they came from, but
Yeah.
it's very natural.
Correct.
Integrating into Malaysian society.
Yeah, I think apart from that is also our multicultural. Malaysia is an Islamic country.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
So apart from talking about communication, language integration, so food wise. The varieties of halal food,
Halal, yeah.
right? So that's why I think in the past in MM2H, it's also attracted a lot of applicants from Bangladesh, Pakistan,
Correct, yeah.
and Indian Muslim. So they feel that, okay, I come to Malaysia, it's quite easy because I can find halal food anywhere.
And people get it. That's the point. So I had this problem in Thailand.
Yeah.
That I was at a restaurant and they served me some chicken.
Yeah.
And I asked them specifically, is it halal?
Yeah, they'd have no
And
idea.
they said, yeah, it's chicken. I'm like, no, I get it. It's chicken. It's not pork. But is it halal? And I actually had to call the chef to my table to
Yeah.
ask him, look, do you understand what halal means?
Yes.
And never had that problem in Malaysia. People get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the drive that the government's now doing for halal certification
Correct.
and making it easier,
Yeah.
I think this is. I personally believe I've fallen in love with the country over the last
Yeah.
year, and I feel like this is the next best, destination for Muslims.
Yeah.
Especially from that region of
Correct.
the subcontinent.
Yeah.
If only you guys offered passports.
Yes.
That would have been a game
Yeah,
changer.
correct. So unfortunately, Malaysia, under the both program, for MM2H and the PVIP, is not a pathway for citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something that the government have any decision on that.
Is there a
Despite-
drive on it? Are they working on it?
Not exactly. So there's no pathway for citizenship, to be clear. Even like for a foreigner that married to a local.
Yeah, that's a very tough pathway as well.
Exactly, yeah. So for someone, even some of my friends, right, they married to local Malaysian wife or Malaysian husband. So it's not an automatic conversion to
Yeah.
get Malaysia's citizenship.
I mean, it does complicate things, but then again, that's just the general trend of the Southeast Asian region. Very few countries actually actually offer,
Yes, that's
path
right.
to citizenship. So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been exploring Malaysia for a while. Let's get back to the MM2H and the PVIP.
Yeah.
So I feel like the PVIP has the potential of replacing the entire platinum category of the MM2H, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does not have the commitment of $1 million. That's
Correct.
the difference.
There's
Yeah.
no commitment of $1 million, but what you mentioned is only 1 million ringgit.
Yeah.
And also, of course, there's no commitment in terms of stay requirement. Yeah, I forgot to
Oh,
mention
I
that
see.
earlier.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So under the PVIP, it's actually zero stay requirement. So today you apply, you get your application approved. You don't need to come back to Malaysia at all
Okay.
if you're not ready. Or maybe you're just busy with your stuff in your back in your
Does the
country.
MM2H have a stay requirement?
MM2H for silver and gold, yes, there's stay requirement, 90-day stay requirement.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
except platinum. So where else there's no stay requirement, and the applicants, the entry qualifying for the applicant is also no minimum age. Yeah.
Oh, that's a difference maker.
Correct.
That's
So
a
at
difference maker.
anyone that, of course, as long as they are adult, 21 years old, they're able to fulfill the 40,000 ringgit income or 480,000 income, they're welcome to apply.
So I guess what I'm seeing is the clear distinction between the two programs. If you want to retire, and buy a property that gives you monthly rentals,
Yeah.
I guess you go for the MM2H.
Yes.
But if you're relatively younger,
Younger.
and you want to work, you want to make Malaysia a second home,
Correct.
like in reality a second home,
Yeah.
and you want to expand from here to other parts of the region, then you go for the PVIP.
Correct,
yeah.
correct. I think one of the point that some of these business owners, especially considering PVIP, is because Malaysia, as you know, we have also very attractive tax system.
Yeah, I was gonna naturally go into
Yeah,
the taxation. So
so-
how does taxation work on the PVIP?
Okay, in general rules, of course, I'm not a tax consultant. So Malaysia, Malaysia has a very attractive taxation rules whereby we only tax on source income. So any income that you derive from the local source income, is only taxable on that. Any income that you gain from worldwide or whatsoever, so it's not taxable unless you bring into Malaysia. Then of course there will
Unless
be
you bring it to Malaysia.
Malaysia, of course,
Okay.
there will be a double taxation arrangement. Yeah, so that's why we are not like other country like US, UK, Australia, whereby they have worldwide taxation,
Yeah.
no matter whichever income that they are making from. So Malaysia, if a lot of high net worth individual they're making Malaysia as their Malaysia residence, tax residence per se, in order to have their tax efficiency planning.
And even to become a tax resident, you have to stay here for 180 days. I
Yeah,
believe, right?
basically,
Yeah.
general rules is 182 days to be a Malaysia tax residence. And of course, normally for those clients that really have such intention to make Malaysia as their second home, to be Malaysia tax residents, so usually I will of course recommend them to have a chat with tax consultant.
Of course.
Just to make sure that whatever tax they are paying in their home country, and to change the tax residence to Malaysia would be, which is the most effective way.
True. Does so I haven't really explored this part. There are certain visas that, like a PVP or something, the Dirantau nomad visa, that are considered short term, so you don't get an IC. Does the PVIP give you an IC, an actual proper residential ID card?
Okay. So at the moment, because this program is fairly new, they still follow the MM2H way,
Okay.
whereby the applicant will get a sticker attached to the passport.
Okay.
So it's like a form of sticker, for now. But of course, there are more and more improvement that is going to, suggest to the board that eventually they were going to make a PR card.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we as an agent, we are, regularly giving feedback.
Of course,
Yeah, to the
yeah.
authority that, hey, you probably we can look into that, probably we can improve into that. So there's something that, there are more and more improvement coming on.
So
along
at the
way.
moment, can they get an ICAD?
No.
No ICAD, no IC.
No IC, yeah.
Right. But on an employment pass, you can get an ICAD or an IC, right?
I'm not too sure on that.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing that's missing from the equation at the moment, that even though you get residency for long term, you won't have an ID card or
ID
a
card.
PR card. It's just
Yeah.
a sticker on your passport.
Correct.
Okay, but
Yeah.
again, that would still allow you to open a bank account. That would still allow you
Definitely.
to,
Yeah,
do whatever you
definitely,
need.
yes.
Yeah.
Because, because it's a mandatory requirement for the applicant themselves to place
Have
the
a bank
fixed
account, yeah.
deposit. Yes. So, of course, the fixed deposit is purely 1 million to set aside for the purpose of fulfilling the requirement. And of course, our clients, since they already have the established a relationship with the bank, and of course they can open another saving account for their daily expenses
Of
purpose.
course,
Yeah.
of course. So, in the clients that you've served so far, what percentage would you say have actually moved fully to Malaysia and are now working here or running a business there?
I would say 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah. Some clients, they are here purely probably just because of children education.
Right.
Yeah. So the wife can move in immediately with the kids. And of course, they can start enroll them into international school. While the husband will be traveling back and forth and so on.
So
And of
that's the
course,
general case.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So because under this visa, is basically make them more convenient to come to Malaysia to stay beyond 90 days.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Rather than you come to Malaysia after 90 days or 30 days, you have to exit Malaysia.
exactly.
And then the more time that you come into Malaysia, then you will cause a lot of question from
Absolutely.
immigration.
But the first visa run might not incur that many questions, but the second will.
Yeah.
They will ask you, why are you
here,
Yeah.
right? Why you come to Malaysia so often? What do you
Exactly.
do in Malaysia? Yeah. So with this proper visa, basically is like a stress-free for a lot of individual under the program, and they can do whatever they want. They can stay as long as they want. They can do business. They can get a job or whatsoever, rather than getting them, need to apply for work permit. Yeah.
Okay. So, on that note of do whatever they want when they come to Malaysia, again, in your experience, because you've dealt with so many cases, what kind of work is bringing people to Malaysia? Because I'm trying to relate this. So the PVIP program is great. It's something that someone can get. They can move to Malaysia. Very convenient, very easy. But what kind of work can they hope to see or hope to do in Malaysia? What industries are attractive? From your experience, what are these people doing here?
I think some of them, of course, our client is most of them are business owner, so they easily can set up a company, and like say, rather than applying for work visa, instantly with the PVIP, they don't need to worry about applying work visa. Set up company, they can run the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Any specific industries that you've seen?
Well, actually, mixed industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them manufacturing. They set up a factory here, and some of them are just maybe any small business will do.
Yeah.
That allow them to work in Malaysia legally.
Of course, because I'm trying to relate this to people who might be watching this, and they're thinking that what kind of business can they bring to Malaysia? But the first question is that, as you said, do they want to live in Malaysia for that long? So the advice there is that you should come to Malaysia,
Yep.
explore the country, see what opportunities it holds.
Yeah.
And it does hold a lot of opportunity. In the last year alone, I've seen so many entrepreneurs, coming to Malaysia, whether it's for a reduced overhead cost,
Yeah.
better taxation, better
Yes.
access to talent,
Yes.
better access to raw materials, and
Yeah.
even a lot of people. I found that a lot of people from Singapore come to Malaysia to set up companies because of the cheap labor available, right?
Yeah.
So, but cheap but highly effective
Yeah.
labor as opposed to Singapore. So, have you found a lot of Singapore clients taking on this route, or is it not very common for them?
Actually, Singapore is also very interesting nationality that applying for Malaysia. For the Malaysia PVIP, purely because as you know, cost of living in Singapore is getting higher and higher. So I have a Singaporean client that they for him is like getting a property in Malaysia is so cheap, right?
Of course, for them.
For them, yeah. So if it's 1 million ringgit property, for example, right, it's only cost at 300,000-400,000 Sing, and then it's like, I can't buy anything 300-400 Sing in Singapore. With the space that 1 million ringgit, probably about 1,005 square feet, for example, depending on the location. So for him, that relocation to Malaysia is something that is a retirement for them.
Makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they can still have their home in Singapore to collect rental. And fund for their cost of living in Malaysia.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And what I've been looking into the history of Malaysia and Singapore for a while, especially with Merdeka and the Malaysian day coming up. So a lot of people who are even working in Singapore, have been in Singapore for a long time,
Yeah.
have family in Malaysia. Because again, it used to be, one federation.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's another, link that brings people from Singapore to retire here, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's one, and of course, some of them probably they already converted to be a Singaporean. They gave up Malaysia citizenship, and then they realized that, hey, I want to come back to Malaysia, retire, because
Okay.
the saving that I have in Singapore
It's not enough.
not
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
For example, if you have 1 million Sing in your bank account, and back here, we move back to Malaysia, you have 3.3 million.
Yeah. It's a
It's very
huge
good life.
difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, it's a very good
Yeah.
life, right? Yeah. So so the Singaporean interest, yes, actually more and more Singaporean inquiries coming to Malaysia, especially in Johor side.
Yeah.
That's for the MM2H. Because PVIP applicant, there's no restriction where you want to stay.
Yeah,
Right? It's not
true.
just Johor. You can stay any part of Malaysia. Yeah.
So I guess for the MM2H, Johor Forest City might be something that people from Singapore are looking at.
Yeah.
But again, the Forest City has not gained that much traction.
It will still need some time.
It'll need some time.
Yes.
I spoke to a couple of people, and they asked me, how's Johor doing nowadays? I said, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
And they said, we've been hearing that for 10 years. So I did not know the history of the Forest City project, but it does garner interest
Yeah.
from certain places, but it's still gonna be a while because until that becomes
Yeah.
something solid, right?
Yeah, it will take a while. I think with the recent government initiative
Yeah.
for the family office, so that probably will be a drive to attract foreigners or wealthy family to set up family office in Johor side.
And I mean, I visited Johor recently. It was my first time there. It's a very different vibe
Yes,
as compared to KL, right?
correct.
So KL is all hustle and bustle, and it's a big city for people who are running around.
Yeah.
Johor is like super laid back,
Yes.
with wide open spaces.
Correct.
There aren't many tall buildings, so it might be a great place for someone to retire.
Yeah.
And but then again, looking at what the MM2H gives you, there's a commitment that you have to purchase a property in a certain area or in a
Yeah.
certain price range, but the
Yeah.
PVIP does not restrict you on that.
Correct. So some of client they started with their relocation to Malaysia by renting a property first. Yeah. So after a year or two, and then you figure out, okay, I don't like, I just stop living in a busy life in Kuala Lumpur. I don't want busy life anymore. I want to have more laid back life. Then they relocate to Penang.
Outside,
Yeah, to Penang. So Penang is, of course, give you a different vibe of
Absolutely, absolutely.
low pace, beach side.
Yeah.
Property is not cheap.
I'm
in
sure,
Johor,
I'm sure.
in Penang.
Yeah.
So that's why I say most of our clients they start their living in Malaysia by renting a property
First, yeah.
renting a property first, and then gradually they will know that, okay, they fall in love with the place that they're staying, and then they can just buy over the property, or seek for a upgrade to buy a better property.
Interesting. That's a good approach.
Yeah.
So anyway, so far we've spoken about how the program is good for a certain audience, right? Which people is it not good for? Like, is there a certain type of individuals, whether they're from a certain country or a certain background, that might not make this the ideal plan for them?
I think as the country itself, of course, we still have certain sanctioned countries.
True.
Which is, this is not that something we are not welcome them. It's actually sanctioned by the government rules and also some of the bank. Certain nationalities are quite restricted to apply under the program. But usually, of course, before we apply, we will normally check with the client that what nationality are they, especially like nationality from Iran, North Korea, Afghanistan. So these are
Russia,
the
perhaps, yeah.
correct.
I recently heard that the UAE was on a list as well. Is the individuals from UAE allowed for
Yeah.
this program?
Yes,
They are.
Yes.
I don't know, it might have been in a different context, but okay. So of course these countries are sanctioned everywhere in pretty
Yes,
much
yes.
in the
So,
world.
so it's
yeah.
actually will change from time to time. It's like, for example, like Russia has been sanctioned for a while.
Yeah.
And now gradually they are open for Russian. And of course, before that, we will also check with some of the bank, and not all bank were able to accept Russian.
That is correct,
To open a
yeah.
bank account. So we will check with the bank, that whichever bank that welcome Russian, then of course we will introduce to the respective bank. that that coordinate for the bank account opening.
Makes sense. All right. So overall, I feel like that we've dived into what the PVIP program is, who it's good for, who it's bad for, who can't apply. Let's talk about the financials of it, because again, as you mentioned in the start, that this is a program that is aimed at high net worth individuals.
Correct.
And the pricing for a lot of things is preset by the government.
That's right.
So the 1
Yeah.
million ringgit, deposit has been
Yeah.
fixed by the government. There are
Yes.
no changes in that.
Yes.
What other financial, aspects are there to this application?
Okay, so the fees is there are a few other fees that involve apart from the 1 million. There will be like government application fees. So the government processing fees, that's about 200,000 ringgit for the main applicant, and each of the dependent is 100,000 ringgit.
Quite expensive, I'd say.
Yes, so it's all dependent on the size of the family. So usually is, of course, we have to see that how many people are applying under the family. Then we will work out quotation for the client. Depending number of applicant.
So does the government allow for certain leeway in
No,
the
it's
fee?
actually fixed by the government.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
200,000 for the main applicant, and each of the dependents 100,000.
That's fixed,
That's
right,
on
yeah.
the government processing fees, and other related fees that will be the visa fees, and of course our visa fees and the pass fee, security bond, and also of course the agent professional fees.
Okay. There's a security bond as well. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's just a small amount, 1,000 something, depending
okay,
on
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depending on the nationality.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, all right. Okay, so while there is a significant financial aspect to this, it is something that is aimed at high net worth individuals. But even the strict financial requirements, even with those, you're saying that you have 700 cases that are either processed or in processing.
No, 500 plus with,
Yeah.
with all the total of
Yeah, yeah.
candidate, total applicants. Well, the approved application as of now is about 170.
Still pretty high considering
Yes.
the steep price tag
Correct,
of this. And you know
correct.
what this goes to show is how great of a country Malaysia is.
Yeah.
Now, I hardly say that any country is perfect. No country is perfect.
No country is
right?
perfect,
There are
yes.
problems everywhere. But the fact that a program as expensive
Yeah.
as this one is seeing such traction,
Yeah.
it should at least stoke the curiosity of people to come visit Malaysia and see what it has to offer.
Yeah.
Because there must be something that's making these millionaires move to Malaysia.
Yeah.
What do you think that is, other than the multicultural aspect?
I guess it will be stability of the country, apart from the government, and also because of the cost of living in Malaysia is relatively low.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm not very well versed in the political situation of Malaysia, but I felt and found from a couple of people that it's quite stable, as opposed to other countries in the region where you see some kind of political turmoil.
Correct. No government ruling
So
and
in
so on.
Indonesia, they have some issues. In Thailand, they were recently at war. So
Yeah.
some foreigners might see that as a country not being stable, even though the countries are not bad.
Yeah.
But Malaysia is actually seen as, being the chair of the ASEAN as well. It's seen as probably one of the most stable countries in the region.
Yeah.
Perhaps right up there with Singapore, if not more.
That's right.
So
yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably what's attracting all these high net worth individuals to Malaysia.
Correct. Yeah.
But either way, I feel like this is a great program, and I was honestly, when I first spoke to you, a couple of weeks ago, it made me curious about it, because I have been dealing with a couple of people who want to get the MM2H, but then they ask, why would we give $1 million? We can do so much with $1 million.
Correct.
Like, why would you put that in a fixed deposit?
Yeah,
And
correct.
if someone has $1 million, they can do a lot more than
Yeah.
settle in Malaysia, right?
Yeah,
So-
correct. Like say, because I always do the calculation with my client, like say for example you put 1 million ringgit in a bank's fixed deposit, which the bank will offer you 3.5%, which is you have 35,000 ringgit
Yeah.
as your interest. So over the years, I think your ROI will come back.
Yeah.
Your return in like probably 5 years.
True.
Yeah, 4-5 years.
Yeah.
Apart from you're saying that the high cost of application, but like say high level individual, they don't look at that way because they just want to make sure that this is a smooth application and they can reside in Malaysia without any interruption.
That is correct. And that is, I feel like, the theme of Malaysia, that people who come here generally do fall in love with the country. they do find opportunities for work, for business and expansion. And again, the affordability of it all really takes the cake on the
That's right.
takes the icing off on the cake.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd move this conversation towards the conclusion.
Sure.
It's been great getting to know about the program. If someone wants to get in touch with you to
Yeah.
perhaps gauge their eligibility, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so of course, anyone listening today that you would like to know more about the program, of course, feel free to reach out to Immerhub to have the pre-qualifying conversation. And after that, of course, Immerhub will arrange a private meeting with me. Then, of course, we will go through the process together.
Yeah, and on that note, I would take this opportunity to also announce that
Yeah.
Emmer is going to be getting into a partnership with
Yes.
MyPVIP very soon.
Yes, yes.
So we will be, we will act as the first point of contact for the pre-qualifiers, and we'll be working very closely with you and your company.
Correct.
And,
Yeah.
bringing the applications in and then processing them over time.
Yeah.
How long does the applications take, by the way? That's a question I missed.
Oh, okay. So in terms of processing time, the approval will be somewhere around 2 to 3 months.
That's not bad.
Yes, yes.
From start to end.
From start to end. Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's a quick fix because there are other routes of setting up a company and getting an employment pass. It takes a lot longer than
Yes.
that. So and that too comes with a 1 million ringgit paid up capital requirement anyway. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is definitely an option that a lot of foreigners need to look into. And if anyone's curious, they can get in touch with Emmerhub and we'll connect them to you,
Yep.
and we can take it from there. But any final notes that you want to give about your company or this visa? The floor is yours.
Well, I think what I mentioned earlier is it's very important for you to select the right agent to manage your application, because I guess a lot of people information are everywhere. Information in social media, in internet and whatsoever, and at the end of the day is to getting engaging a trusted partner is very important to manage your application, despite the fees that you're going to pay. And of course, ultimately, you just want to have a smooth transition and get the approval as fast as you want. So of course, we are not the government, but we will manage your application professionally and to make sure that your entire family will move to Malaysia smoothly, with our integration, our team to open a bank account, to settle down in Malaysia, or even assistance to look for a home, to whether you want to purchase a property or rent a property. So we have all the partners available. And of course, if you want to set up a company, of course you have.
That's what we're here for. Yeah.
you will have of course a conversation to advise you how to set up a company. How to integrate in Malaysia smoothly.
No, it's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this collaboration with your organization because it really covers all the aspects of moving to Malaysia. And because we get a lot of inquiries for people who want to set up a company, but then they have trouble with the moving to Malaysia side because the general work permit and EP side of things, it takes so long, and it's a tedious process. You have to get some licenses, and so it's a lot of work. But now working closely with you guys, we can offer that as a complimentary, but the services basically complement each other. So, but anyway, thank you so much for being on the Emerge podcast. This was extremely insightful, and we'll leave your contact information in the video as well. And look forward to working with you.
Thank you for having me.
We're breaking the frame. We already grinding.